When the Smash community talks about Little Mac, they usually think that Final Destination is his best stage by a landslide, and that platforms are one of his main weaknesses that make him a bottom tier character. However, if you ask most Mac players from the Little Mac Discord, or if you just ask me, we'd tell you that Town and City or even Battlefield is Little Mac's best stage. So, what's up with that? This isn't meant to say that Final Destination is bad for Little Mac. It can be really good for some matchups. It's best to go Here's Mac if your opponent doesn't have good projectiles or an effective way of boxing you out. But overall, Little Mac can use platforms to his advantage very effectively. When I'm talking about platforms out of the legal stages in my region, I'm talking about all of them except for Kalos. These plats can be used for setups, but having no ground below them makes it so Mac really can't use them to their fullest potential, and to the degree that most other characters can. In my last video, what tier is Little Mac really in? One thing I didn't cover enough was something that is seen as one of his biggest weaknesses, and that's him losing very hard to platform camping. So does this alone make platforms not good enough for Little Mac in the grand scheme of things? I wouldn't say so. Mac isn't insanely well at dealing with it compared to a lot of characters, but he still has a solid list of tools which can be used to get in regardless of where his opponent is at on stage. Up smash hits under most platforms, but you have to have pretty good positioning for it to hit. You can use Jolt Haymaker to catch your opponent landing on the platform, but it's not the best idea to use it when they see it coming. If they shield it from the platform, it can be easy for them to drop down and punish Haymaker's stupid amount of end lag. Wavemaker can be used to hit the opponent if you're closer to the platform, where the normal Haymaker would whiff. Fast Fall Up Air is an effective poking tool, and it can have a couple follow-ups if you're able to touch the ground. Full Hop Forward Air and Back Air can be used to knock an opponent off and lead into tech chases at higher percentages, but it's pretty easy to punish if you just hit their shield and don't fast fall through the platform. Full Hop Straight Lunge can be used against some characters, mostly ones with just lots of multi-hits or low damaging moves, and then it can be cancelled into basically whatever you want. If your opponent sees it coming, they can just grab you out of it though, so be careful and primarily use this one as a mix-up. Don't make it your main option. KO Punch can also hit from below the platforms, but just like up smash, you need to be positioned just right for it to land. You also need to keep in mind if you're trying to use KO Punch that if you're running and then you use it, it has a lot of momentum, so keep that in mind. It might mess up your positioning and everything. And then you can also just use Wave Landing to maneuver around the other platforms on the stage and reach your opponent. Just play it safe when moving around the platform, since your opponent is likely going to have better options to cover themselves compared to you. So anyways, let's get back on track. Why are platforms even good for Little Mac? Mac plays a patient, grounded neutral, so if any given situation, such as a zoner where Mac doesn't feel comfortable directly challenging them, he can just back off to a platform if he doesn't have a lot of stage to work with. This obviously is effective on any stage of platforms, but it's especially effective on Battlefield because it's a tri-plat. It lets him easily jump between platforms and makes it one of the best stages for dealing with zoners. This doesn't mean that you can only use them for defensive purposes though. You can use the platforms to chase down opponents trying to land and keep the pressure up, bait out options at ledge, and for fake outs to try and study your opponent. He can also gain a massive advantage from starting tech situations on platforms with all sorts of setups and ways to cover tech situations on them. So before I cover the legendary OD godlike busted Little Mac platform setup, let's start simple. You and your opponent are just both below the platform. A normal platform trap is already an advantageous position. Even if your opponent lands their tech and picks a good option, they're still trapped on the platform either way. Mac has ways to deal with every single type of option out of a tech without even getting on the platform himself. If your opponent is at a low enough percent where Mac's moves won't enter tumble state, they will still be stuck in landing lag, which can give you a few frames of advantage. Even if your opponent tries to land and spot dodge or roll, KO Punch can beat out their landing by a single frame, which is pretty cool. Next up, your opponent is up on the platform and you're below them. From here, you can just go for any of the options I mentioned earlier for generally dealing with platform camping. If you want to approach with an aerial and land on the platform, I would say up air is probably your best bet. If it connects, it can combo an up tilt, which can usually lead to a rising uppercut, but at lower percents, fast fall up air can basically combo into imagination. If you land with forward air, it can true combo into down tilt and forward tilt to get them off the platform at lower percents. You can still use forward air and up air from below the platform, which still leads into really solid follow-ups depending on their percent. This is something that you can easily mess around with in training mode, so just load it up and mess around and see what you can do. Now let's talk about if you're on the platform and the opponent is below you. You can drop down with fast fall up air and get all the follow-ups you can off of it. Same thing can be done with forward air and or back air, which starts tech chases and lets you chase them down in a tight spot. Keep in mind that none of his aerials are very safe on shield because of their range, so sometimes it's just a good move to run off the platform and reset neutral. So these are just very general things you can do with platforms, but there's one specific thing you can do that is both very saucy and very effective, and I'm talking about down air locks. If you're in the situation where you hit your opponent on a new platform and get them into a tech chase, you can lock them in place with down air in the same way that a jab lock would work off of a normal tech chase. You can lock some characters in place even more by following up the dare with a normal jab lock, but it only works on some characters. And thank you very much to the Little Mac Discord, because they made a full document detailing which characters you can extend to the jab lock on and which ones you can. So big shout out to the Little Mac Discord for that. If you can only land down air to lock, you don't have as much time to follow up, but you can still get pretty good stuff out of it. The best options are just up smash, down tilt, up tilt, or rising uppercut. If you can land the extra jab, then you can follow up with basically anything you want. Any other smash tech besides up smash or forward tilt. If you start the down air lock too close to the edge of a platform, the opponent will slide off as you hit them. If they slide off of a lower platform, they'll be forced into another tech situation, which we all know Little Mac gets loads off of. If they miss their tech, you can drop down with them in jab lock, or even down air lock them again, or you can drop through the platform and get a free forward air or back air, which, you know, does the Little Mac forward air and back air things. Keep in mind that you can only get a down air lock off of one full hop if the platform is the height of battlefields. Otherwise, you're going to have to double jump and fast fall. So it's a bit more difficult to do on those types of platforms, you know, stages like PS2 and that type of stuff, but with a bit of practice and training mode, you can get it down. So yeah, that's about all I really had to cover in this video. So I really hope it helped you guys out. I'm streaming on Twitch every once in a while, just playing Smash, grinding Little Mac as I always do. So check that out if you're interested. And yeah, have a nice rest of your day or evening, whatever time zone you're in. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.